Welcome everyone to a special edition of Conversations in the Void. I'm your host, Graveyard. I'm excited for tonight. He is an actor, producer, memoir writer, and father of a brood of felines with many works including Best of the Best, Runaway Train, My Last Best Friend, and Return of the Dead Universe. Please welcome to the Void, Eric Roberts.
Thank you, pal. I'm in the car. We're just pulling up to a gas pump.
Awesome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. I left at the crack of dawn. I was in Mexico, and I just crossed up into Phoenix, and we're on the way to my brother-in-law's house, where I'm gonna visit my brother-in-law and have a day off.
That sounds good. You are a very busy man.
I'm one of the lucky ones, man. I get to work. It's really fun, and I've seen the world a couple times for free, and I have friends all over the world because of what I do, and
Yeah.
I'm the luckiest guy I know, quite frankly.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really excited. I know so many of your works. Like I said, there's hundreds upon hundreds, and you are the most really prolific actor out there. Did you ever think you'd hit to over 700, nearly 800 credits in your career?
Absolutely not. I lost count at 75, and I thought 75, 76 movies was great. Oh my God, I made so many movies. And then I closed my eyes, and 20 years pass, and it's up in the hundreds. And I had no idea until somebody told me, like you. And I'm like, really? Is that true? And that was about 3 years ago when I realized I made a bunch of movies. And I had the best job on the planet, though, being an actor.
Yeah. I mean, how do you find the time to do as many as you have?
Well, the hard part is the scheduling. And my wife, who's my wife manager and general boss, is in charge of the scheduling, and she's always on the phone having to redo or reset or reschedule everything because it's constantly evolving, constantly changing, and it's fun, but it's a pain in her foot.
Yeah, like I said, before the show, talking to my family, they're like, "Oh wow, you're gonna have Eric Roberts." Like, I watched so many things he's in. They like look you up. They're like, "You've done I don't know how many hundred in like 2017 alone."
Yeah, what happened was, like every other movie actor, I made 1 to 3 movies a year, and then came digital. They took film and they came digital. So everybody who had a camera became a studio basically, and they started calling me direct. And about 1997, 98, 99, somewhere in there, my wife comes to me and says, "Honey, we're getting uh, 30 to 50 offers a day from all over the world. Do you want to go pursue this?" I said, "Yeah," thinking it would last a year, maybe two, maybe three, maybe 1,000 days. And that was 30 years ago. And I'm still doing it. And it's
That's
just
great.
fun because just to reiterate, I have the best job on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that most people would aspire to do because you said you do 1 to 3 movies a year, and that was pretty hard working. But like I said, you have just gone whole hard. And do you think that like all the more you said digital and like self tapes have changed the way the audition process even works?
Oh, they have completely, buddy. It's a great question because when I was a youngster, you had to get dressed up. You had to go find an address you'd never been to. You had to go meet people you'd probably never see again and have one shot at auditioning, one shot. And now that we're at home with our own little cameras, we can do it 150 times up until we get the best. And then we send it in proud. And we don't have to go anywhere. And it's just such a luxury now to be an at-home actor.
Yeah, and you mentioned that everyone with a camera is able to be their own film studio, and I know you've done a lot of the indie productions now too.
Well, my wife likes to help brand new filmmakers, and she reminds me how I got help with my first movie by Frank Pearson, and she says now it's your turn. So we do a lot of first time directors. We do a lot of crazy low budget things in weird places just because she likes the filmmaker and or the writer and or both if he's both or if she's both, and we're all over the world doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I had the writer and main actor from Haunted Happy Hour. You played Kolshan as a cameo in the Ghost of the Brewery. you know, and that was just is interesting just to see you pop up there too.
Thank you. That we're just pulling out. I'm just getting distracted.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, I mean, it's great that you're able to do all this indie stuff too, because I'm part of a small indie horror team myself, and it's amazing that we're able to get hundreds of people now auditioning as versus whatever we were able to have open.
You're absolutely right. It's a whole different world now, and also everybody's very computer savvy, so it's much easier. Except me, I ask my kids to help, and they do, and the wife is pretty hip on the computer. But the real luxury with the new auditioning at home is you can do it 150 times.
Yeah,
and back in my day, you had one shot.
Yeah. Well, you've also started working on audio dramas as well, and that kind of stems from your voiceover work you've done in the past too. Is that something you're able to do from your house with your own sound booth?
That's something that I do just for pleasure, and I have a friend who has a small at-home studio, and I go over to his house and I pay the cost and I use his stuff, and he just what's Jeremy's last name?
It's JB Studios.
JB Studios. Check them out. Look them up. They're great. If you have to an on-camera audition, that's where I always go. It's about 2 blocks from my house.
Nice.
And I wander over there and I do my auditions. Yeah.
Yeah, and these audio dramas you've been doing recently, so that's just something for fun now. How is that different for you from say being on screen?
You know what? It's all the same to me. It's like I don't know. It's just if I'm acting, I'm happy, and it doesn't really matter where I'm doing it or who I'm doing it for, as long as they're having fun too. Because when you have fun, you're like much more creative, and you're much happier. So you get more done, and that's where I'm very lucky. And my wife is also my inspiration, and that she's smarter than me, she's nicer than me, and she tells me what to do, and I do it. And happy life, happy wife, pal.
Yeah. I dragged my wife into one of our movies just because an actress fell out. My wife goes, "Yeah, I have to get some Halloween decorations for a house for this." I go, "That's fair."
Good for you. Yeah, my wife, I made her my manager about 15, 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun ever since, because before my wife was the boss, they wouldn't ever tell me about low budget movies, independents, and they don't tell me about the expensive stuff. So I fired them, I made her the boss, and now I make everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's how you have just drastically increased your output. You are a very busy man. Starting off as a child actor because your parents ran a child acting school. Was there kind of a pressure for you to get into that path from them?
Oh no, not at all. Why I actually became an actor as a boy was because I had a terrible stutter. I could not talk to people. I would stutter my ass off, and it was very embarrassing. Like in grammar school, when you go around the room and everybody reads,
Mm-hmm.
I would count the people, count the lines, and I would memorize my line, because if I memorized it, I could say it. But if I didn't memorize it, I would stutter. And of course, the whole class would laugh, and it would embarrass me. So I kind of fell into acting by the fact that it allowed me to talk. And so that's kind of how it really started for me. My parents ran a school called the Actors and the Writers Workshop, funded by the Martin Luther King Foundation, and we patterned in Dad's school after Joe Papp's theater, and then we had a showmobile, and we toured underprivileged areas all week, and that theater in Piedmont Park, which was our Central Park in Atlanta, every weekend. And that's how I grew up, doing repertory theater. I spent 11 years doing that, and then I went away to school in London. Then I came home to New York and went to school there. I didn't graduate from acting school there. quit school there, and I got my first manager, Bill Tresh, who got me my first movie, King of the Gypsies.
Yeah.
And it's been just lucky fun ever since.
What was it like landing your first big role for you? Was that just like affirmation?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
What was it like landing your first big role? Was like, affirming your career choice for you?
All I heard was first big role. Try again. Go again.
What was it like landing your first big role?
Well, it blew my mind because it's a major motion picture starring Susan Sarandon, Brooke Shields, Shelley Winters, Judd Hirsch, and Sterling Hayden. And I was the only unknown, and it was introducing Eric Roberts. So I was scared to death every day. But Susan and Shelley and Brooke were very good to me. And I made friends with Sterling Hayden, who I found out was a neighbor of mine. And we used to go grocery shopping together after that movie, up till he died. And I just got lucky, and I knew it, so I kept chasing it.
That's awesome, though. Was that kind of like your family's inspiration? Because obviously you come from a family of actors as well. Is that kind of like you're the trendsetter for the family?
Well, I haven't really been with my mom since I was a teenager, and my dad died in 1977, and I got my first part in my first movie role in 1978. So they both missed it, but I of course carried them with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With all the genres you've worked in sci-fi, westerns, action. What's kind of your favorite genre for acting for you?
Well, two things. I like love stories because my wife likes love stories, and I like my wife. But I like action adventures. But my favorite movie of all time is probably 3 Days of the Condor. That was written, oddly enough, by my father-in-law, my wife's dad, and I didn't know that when I met her. But that's probably my favorite film. And what was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's just like I was, wondering with everything in place, what's your favorite genre to work in?
Oh, political thrillers. That's why I brought up 3 Days of the Condor. I love those movies so much, even when I don't understand them.
That's awesome. Now, being an actor, are you able to sit down and enjoy movies without going, oh, I know how they did that? Or are you able to just enjoy them for what they are?
It's a double-edged sword because I know everything that's ever going on with the movie, and sometimes it's, oh, I know what they're doing and they're lying to me. But most of the time, it's really fun. It's like a really good mechanic who knows what he's looking at when he opens up a hood. Well, I know what I'm looking at when I buy a ticket, so it's actually kind of fun for me. And I like knowing everything. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I review movies as a separate show, and to the point for me, I'm like, all right, now I'm watching the movie just to enjoy it. And I'm kind of just like having that notepad. I'm like, no, I'm here just to sit down and enjoy it, versus kind of like picking things out.
Oh yeah. By the way, in the back seat over my shoulder is my wife. That's Eliza.
Yeah. Hi, Eliza.
He said hi.
That's awesome. Now with your career, how do you think technology has changed with like green screens and all that stuff with practical versus CGI?
Well, the green screens is an old technique that they just made better. But what's wild are the cameras, the autofocus, all the stuff. They're trying to replace all the technicians. So they're making everything automatic. And in a way it's good, in a way it's not, because it doesn't have your on the spot artistic sense that movies used to. It just kind of does itself. So it's not as moving, I'll say, but it's still there and it still gets the job done and it still tells the story. It's all very brand new. So it'll get better and it'll get a look like old like film had, which was beautiful and romantic and two-dimensional, and
Mhm.
it'll improve over time, and it'll get great. We're babes in the woods with this new digital.
Yeah. I foresee at some point in time a young actor or writer right now, probably a teenager, going, this is how I grew up. But now when they get to maybe in their 30s and 40s, going, you know what? That old style, that's what we want to do again.
Yeah,
think
of
that-
course you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you see that just kind of being like a thing of the current technology, like how everyone did 3D in the 70s and 80s, and then it came back briefly?
Well, no, I see it as be able to copy what we had, where it looked like we had, even though it's mixed. And,
I think I lost you there, Eric. Are you still there? All right, 1 second, folks. All right, let me see. Hopefully he comes back. All right. Well, let me hit him up real fast. Un momento. Oh, we had lost you there.
Hey, I got you back in my ear. Hi.
Hi.
It's back, Eliza.
I know.
Hey.
Hey. Sorry, we lost you there for a second.
Where are we?
Yes. So we were talking about, where we think where movie shooting would go, that you think that maybe we'll be able to replicate the old movie magic again.
Well, I think this whole new wave of technological genius is just going to bring us back to the way film used to look, because that's where at least the old people and most of the middle-aged people, where they get lost in the romanticism of a made film, is how it looks, how it feels, the music, the background, all the stuff, and it takes a lot to make a movie, and like digital looks not expensive, so that's the next big step is to make it look precious like film used to look, but we'll see. I'm just on for the ride, pal.
Oh, for sure. And with all the new advances in streaming, I always equate to like browsing Netflix is no different than the way I grew up going to your VHS rental store and just picking something based off of the cover art and the 2 paragraphs on the back, right?
We all did that, dude. Yes.
I think it's still there. It's great though, because talking back to indie people, it gives the indie side more of a way to get into people's houses now.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah. And I know you last year or 2 years ago came out with your memoir. So what persuaded you to write your memoir?
I never wanted to write a memoir because I've read probably close to every memoir ever written by an actor, every autobiography, and a lot of the biographies too. And I was never going to write one because I don't find myself that interesting. I don't find myself that valuable through my experience to say, okay, read this because it's worth it. I didn't think that. And all my friends come to me, when are you going to write a book? I tell them all, I'm not writing a book. And then publishers started coming to me. When are you going to write a book? I said, I'm not going to write a book. And then finally my wife, who I love and adore and admire and respect, comes to me and says, you got to write a book. And I said, I don't want to write a book. I don't like actors who write books. I think it's kind of vain and weird. And I'm also not a writer. And she says, well, you're going to have to become one for a book. And I said, well, then I'm going to have your help. And she said, I'll help you. And she also got me Sam. What's Sam's last name?
Kashner.
Sam Kashner, who wrote the book on Obama, and she got him to help me. And so I kind of had it made in that she kept me from embellishing, and he kept my English straight, and we wrote a book.
Yeah,
Who knew?
It's amazing because we as a general populace, we idolize actors in ways now than we ever did way back in the day, and it's just kind of a way to kind of tell your story that people might not know, because I'm sure with yourself people go, oh well, I only like you in this and this and this, and it's all we want to talk about, but you're able to tell your story how you want to tell it.
Well, in all honesty though, writing a book is like the first day of school every day, because I'm not a writer, so I did not know what I was doing, but I had a great writer helping me, Sam Kashner, and I had my wife keeping me honest. But it's probably the hardest, longest process I've ever been through with something I didn't really want to do, but I knew I had to do it, and I knew if I was going to do it, I had to make it its own unique truth. It could not be an actor's book about an actor. It had to be Eric's book about Eric, who is an actor, and it was hard, and so I'm very proud that I got through it, and and I'm also very proud of what my wife helped me achieve, which is a very blatantly, almost embarrassingly honest book.
Now, are you going to do, I don't know, have you done an audio version of the book, and has it you reading it?
I have done an audio version of the book, and it is me reading it, and it's even better than the book, because my wife kept reminding me of stuff as we recorded it. Oh, remember so and so? Oh yeah, we got to put that in the book. So I added a bunch in the audio, and it's really fun to listen to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What, Eliza?
Music in the audio book.
Oh yeah, and also what's really cool about my audiobook is I have my stepson Keaton Simons. He does all the music for me in the book, and he's my favorite living musician. Not because he's my wife's kid, but because this guy is unbelievable. Wait till you hear him; it'll blow your mind. He's on tour right now with Brett Young.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, they're selling out stadiums. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That really is. I said, I talked to Steven Stolier, who wrote the memoir for the Groucho Brothers.
Right.
And he says, he just had so many notes of his life detailing everything. Was it hard for you to go back in the past, or did you kind of keep like good records of your life and times back then?
I keep diaries, so time and place I can kind of keep straight. Mm-hmm. So I keep diaries, so I refer to them a lot. And also I've been married for half my life, so she was also a reference point for me. I would say, hey Eliza, when we were in blah blah blah, did so and so drive up in blah blah blah? Oh yeah, that was this blah blah blah. And she helps because I remember all the big stuff, and I also remember all the tiny stuff, but I don't remember all the medium stuff, and my wife does. So that's how I wrote the book.
That's awesome, though. It's you kind of go back through your back catalog of movies to help you remember things too.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Did you go back and watch your earlier films to help you kind of piece things together with your diaries?
You know what's funny? I have made so many movies that no matter where I am, no matter what country or what state or what city, I can usually find myself on television, and I've seen many old movies on the road. I don't seek them out, although I have students who ask me, what's your favorite film with your favorite director, and I have many. So I will suggest them to people, but no, I don't really seek out my own movies. I let other people bring them up to me, and then I answer whatever they want to know.
That's awesome. Yeah, anything I've done movie wise as a actor, I go, I can't watch my stuff. I refuse to do it.
Well, here's what's funny about that. When I first started making movies, I watched every foot of film I ever shot. I watched everything, and I learned from it. And then about 15 years ago, out of my whatever it is now, 35 years in film. No, 45 years in film. After all this time, I don't watch myself anymore. I've seen everything I can do well, and I just don't like watching myself. I love watching my wife. I love watching my daughter. I love watching my sister. I don't like watching myself. I've gotten over myself.
Awesome, Eric. So we're gonna get into some wrap-up questions. We're about to end of the show here. So, do you think that CGI will ever fully take over practical effects?
Do I think what, buddy? Ask again.
Do you think CGI will ever fully replace practical effects?
Do I think CGI will what? One more time.
Will ever take over practical effects fully?
Well, no. I think because the heart of drama and comedy is a personality, is a delivery. And I think that can be replaced with machines. It can be imitated. It can be really good. I mean, who was it who we saw dancing that was AI the other day, honey?
Oh, Johnny Osmond in a birthday card.
Oh yeah, I got sent a birthday card. Or no, a friend of mine got sent a birthday card, and on it was Donny Osmond singing "Happy Birthday" to her. No, in fact, it was your birthday card. But last night it was my wife's birthday card, and it was Donny Osmond singing "Happy Birthday" to her, and it was so cool. And you totally bought it, but of course, he never sang "Happy Birthday" to my wife. But
yeah,
but so it has its ups and downs. I mean, it's some great stuff about it, but I would like to believe that it couldn't completely take over, because the heart and the soul of everything is reality, and we are the reality.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'm right.
Yeah, and I think that the indie side of things of the industry will always keep the practical, because that's what we got to do sometimes, is do as practical as we can, just because budgets.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right, Eric. So you worked in so many properties over your career. Is there a IP or franchise that you haven't been a part of that you'd love to be a part of?
Well, I would like to play some crazy characters, crazy comedies, because I'm known as a very intense guy. And like for years, I would walk down the street in New York, and I would see a woman recognize me from like a block away, and she crossed the street. I mean, that's how the roles I've played have affected people. And so I'm like ready now to be funny and stay funny. And I hope I'm allowed to do that. I am so overjoyed with the fact that I'm allowed to work pretty much every day. I work probably 300 days a year. And it's just, I'm just lucky, because you're only allowed to work in this business if they like working with you. And so I'm very lucky, and I try to keep everybody wanting to work with me.
Well, I mean, you have a comedy chops coming up with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes movie coming out, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see how that works out. I've not seen the movie, but we'll see.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite zany franchises of all time.
Oh, thank you. I love that. I love that you think that, because a lot of people do. I didn't know about it up until I did it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent a script, and it made me laugh, and so I jumped on board. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy series. They had a cartoon in the early 90s. It was just absurd, but I believe it was good old good old I'm dropping his name right now. This is bad for me. Let's see here. It was George Clooney started off in Attack the Killer Tomatoes 2.
Did he really? I had no idea. I know. My wife was a cast director, and she cast him in ER. I know that. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that movie to come out for sure. All right, so Eric, before we sign off,
Yeah.
what advice can you give for people getting into the industry?
To who? What advice to whom?
To anyone that wants to start in the acting business.
Well, okay. It's not necessarily how talented you are. It's how you deal with people. And I never knew how to deal with people up until my wife told me one day, "You're terrible with people." And she says, "You're a really good actor, and you're terrible with people. In fact, you're horrible. I have to educate you how to be social." And so I said, "Okay." And so she did, and everything started changing. People started inviting me to parties and things, and it just and second of all, it's only kind, and you just have to do it, and you have everybody, they know what they're doing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You
right.
just have to give everybody the respect that you would like to get. That's my best advice.
Awesome. Love it, Eric. Love it. Well, we're at the end of the show, so thank you very much, Eric, for coming on. For anyone new here, follow us on all social media at Pod Out Night, and we will see you next time. Don't get lost in the void. Good night.